everybody. I'm Rachel Saunders. I'm fairly new to the Trusted Referral Network, so I'm really happy to be able to be here today and happy to present. I'm going to shut that off so I don't have to look at it myself. Anyway, I am with a company called Amplifyer, and I guess we're going to use the, okay, there we go. I'm with a company called Amplifyer, and we are focused on amplifying or raising the voices of some of the world's most innovative startups. We really look to very differentiated product suites or services, and then we connect those startups with brands and agencies. We do it all very nicely with our white glove customer support. We work primarily with early to mid stage startups. Again, you're going to see a lot of the word innovative a lot here. They're committed to very innovative product development. A lot of the times those startups are like wholly focused on product development, and they haven't even really gotten to their commercial team at all. That's kind of an ideal candidate for us. And we can come in and be that expert commercial team to take them to market. It grants them access to our global network, and we have a very extensive background in technical expertise with our team. One of the things that we really like to do with our clients is provide an ongoing in-market feedback loop. And that's something that gives us the ability to kind of take our products and technologies and services to market and see what the market will bear, whether that's, you know, pricing or messaging, what have you. We really like to get that feedback from the market and refine before we do the full go-to-market strategy. So our tenants at Amplifyer, again, innovation, a lot of that. And because of that transparency, this is really important to us. And one thing in the advertising and the marketing industry, we are legitimately and actually fighting against right now. One of our clients actually was invited to testify in front of the Senate and was a part of building the case, the antitrust case against Google, which was just brought to bear this week. So we're really in the throes of bringing back a client's assets and making them their own. Google doesn't have the right, Facebook doesn't have the right, you know, to own your data, basically. Again, talking about that feedback loop, we really want to foster a constant feedback loop with our network to understand what the market can bear, as I said, and customization. We try to be as prescriptive as possible when we take our products to market. We really want to match up the right product to alleviate the right pain point for the right client as much as we possibly can. Here is a slide of legitimately right now the agencies that we have our partners in front of. And I wanted to be as real as possible. I just updated the slide before we got on. I looked at our call list and didn't want to just put up, you know, here's all the big agencies in the world. We legitimately have opportunities at all of these agencies right now. A lot of these are the bigger agencies, if you know the advertising marketplace at all, but we do have a very robust network, whether it's with the holding groups, the independent agencies, the smaller shops, the creative shops, and within that, various levels. You know, some of us, like myself, I've been in the industry over 20 years. A lot of my connections all now own the agencies. And, you know, but we do have people at mid-level as well, dependent upon what your needs are. And brands, opportunities we're currently bringing to our partners. So the partners that we actually had one of our partners raise his hand the other day and say, you know, guys, like, these are really high level meetings. I didn't realize we were going to like jump right into the deep end, and maybe we could just like take a step back. And it was cute. We said no to that because we're getting actually a lot of traction with the service offering that he has. So it was a little intimidating, I think, for him. He was one of our smaller, you know, startups, but really exciting. And being able to bring these types of brands to our clients is something we're very proud of. In terms of how we work with our clients, this is just an idea of what our process looks like. We do an extensive onboarding. It can take up to a month, and that includes everything: customer success, marketing, data and analytics, all of it. We onboard our clients, and then we start that feedback loop. We literally go right out to market and start talking and start understanding whether the message is being received well, what the competitive pricing models look like, all of those things. And then we refine those and bring them back out to market to make sure that we've kind of hit the nail on the head before really going full force into big, huge discovery meetings, and then of course eventually pilots and programming. But really it takes about a full quarter for us to get to that place and feel good about it. Again, that depends on how robust the client, how much effort the client's already put into the commercial side of the business. And within the first 4 to 6 months, you should be seeing money coming in. So what is it that we do? What are these, these clients that I keep referring to? Well, we have a really exciting group of clients, and they have a unique solution set that really kind of falls everywhere across the customer journey, whether that's up at the top of the funnel in the branding area, down through the middle where they start to engage, or towards the bottom of the funnel when we're able to get them to buy something, usually, or do something, whatever the KPI is. We're focused really on future-proofing in our industry. Again, this is extremely important right now. A great example is cookieless data solutions. We have a customer intelligence platform that is fully cookieless, which doesn't really exist much out there right now, and certainly needs to as we move forward into a cookieless world in the GDPR. So that's something that's important to us. Customizing algorithms, finding attribution alternatives in measurement, using social for truly engaging and brand purposes. So we've got a lot of really cool partners, and I'm going to talk to you about them as quickly as I possibly can. I could do probably an hour-long presentation on any one of these clients. So I'll do my best to be quick and answer any questions, and certainly we can follow up after if any one of these are of interest. Ad Predictive is our customer intelligence platform that I mentioned, and it is focused on data and audience management. And so I'm not sure if you're familiar with customer data platforms, but the differentiator between those and Ad Predictive is that most of these platforms work with a data partner or two, maybe even 3 if they're getting crazy. We work with over 30 deterministic data partners with Ad Predictive, which is like almost all of them. Everything from Zaxxas to TransUnion to Experian to, everybody, Viant. So, and really that's a differentiator in of itself, but Ad Predictive sits on top of all of those as a single source of truth. And they have a data lake that is able to resolve the identity of the folks that we're trying to, the audiences that we're trying to create. So what is it they do? Well, it's pretty cool. If you have first-party data, you can import that first-party data into this platform, and they have lots of different things you can then do with it. One of the coolest products that I love is called data hydration, and just like feels good. And in any case, we can take that first party data and hydrate it. They have over 100,000 smart attributes that you can append to that data and create whatever it is you're looking for from an audience perspective. And then with that, you can take it back to your management platform, your DMP. You can package it up and send it out for media activation to, out into the world. If you don't have a first-party database, you can create one here in this platform, which is hugely important for folks that don't have that CRM database going or a current customer database. Again, Ad Predictive is one that, like, if you're interested at all, do a demo because it's fascinating what they're able to do. Really cool company. And you wouldn't think they're a startup because of the people that they're working with right now. But as you can see, they kind of grew organically out of the entertainment industry. And so it looks like you know, they're a lot bigger than they actually are. Right now, they are Peloton's secret sauce coming out of, well, coming out of disastrous last December when they put that commercial on that everybody freaked out about, you know, the man buying the woman a Peloton for Christmas. And then, so they dove and then they spiked because of COVID. So what Ad Predictive has helped them do is understand what's actually working out there, because they've got such mixed messages from their sales over the last 12 months that they had to really kind of like level set and figure out how to get a more consistent base going. So that's just one example.
Rachel, you have about 4 minutes left. You want to leave it up for open for questions?
Yes, let me just talk about this data manager. I mean, the alternative to attribution, and then I'll move on. This is really important because right now, most companies that can afford attribution have it. Most companies, especially new companies, can't afford it. They can't afford the cost, the implementation. They can't afford to have a data scientist on staff. So we have a company, Mint Measure, that has come in and has kind of created the wheel. This is easy to implement, and you're able to not only understand how your media is functioning, but understand by vendor or by media outlet, as well as by channel. And cross-channel is something people talk a lot about, but nobody can actually do. And we can actually do it, which is really exciting. So we also offer custom algorithms as well as social branding and engagement. We are looking to work with either early stage startups to kind of be the CRO or the trusted advisor and the feet on the street. We also work with mid-stage startups to try to refresh, kind of supercharge their business, consult and collaborate with those folks. So those are the people that we're looking to reach.
Great. So for those of you who just joined or joined after Rachel started, Rachel's with Amplifyer, as it says on the top here. They are sort of a outsourced CRO business for startups in the adtech, martech space. And in some cases, sort of do what we do as a network where we represent a couple of teams. But I think their model is different. Actually, I had a question. So how do you charge for your services?
Good question. We have two sources of revenue for our company. One, we charge our clients on a retainer basis. So the startups are paying a retainer fee, and then we are earning a revenue share off of any of the advertising.
Off of the advertising or
So any of the programs. So whatever. So if Peloton is using the Ad Predictive customer intelligence platform, whatever they're paying to use that, we get a percentage of.
Oh, so it's a revenue share on success base. Okay, so it's a all right, interesting.
Which usually pretty quickly, you know, within the first 6 to 12 months, pays itself back on the retainer, which is kind of how that model has been successful to date.
Okay, interesting. But not all of your technology is a transactional or ad based, right?
Not all, most of it. Yeah, in a sense, yes, I would say. Yes is the answer. Some of it is more service based, more like SaaS based, if you will, but still it would the same, you know, the same fee structure would apply.
Okay. So Jason has a comment. One thing I will share is when I search Google, it autocorrects you to an, I would say.
I know, it's not annoying. It's because we spelt it wrong. This is the second company I work for where we spelt a word wrong. And, you know, it's like the name of the game in the ad tech business, I guess.
It looks like Jason had to leave too. So is he still here? Maybe not. Nope. Okay. So he says he will look into it. Any other questions? Got a minute or so. Just chime in because there's, you know, a small group today. Unmute yourself. Okay, so thank you, Rachel. I will say that Amplify is sort of a unique player among, you know, members of the group in what they do. I guess they do essentially it's they're sort of a sales agency in essence, sales and marketing agency.
Sales rep firm, if you want, like just to be easy about it.
Right. I will note that.
But we do have marketing, analytics, and customer success functions as well. So we really can come in and be an entire commercial team as opposed to just the sales function.
So I guess people that you'd be looking for would be martech, adtech startups that have an innovative solution similar to what we do, but we're a slightly different, take a slightly different approach. We're more, I would say, SaaS focused.
Yeah.
The 3 companies we're currently representing are SaaS companies. So why don't we close it off there? Thank you for your presentation. I will.
Thank you.
So let me see. Okay, I'm going to switch to speaker view, and we'll go Patrick, Ling, and John, then Cheryl, Joe, and Audrey. How does that sound? And take up to 3 minutes because we have time. So Patrick, you are up.
Hi, everybody. It's actually, I think it's the first time I'm meeting everybody. So nice to meet you all. My name is Patrick Sasso. The company's Loop 7. We're a multimedia production company, and we actually use amplifiers, ones that are spelled with an I. But
I like that.
So our focus is mainly video, but we really are a creative agency that does pretty much everything. Photography and music are a close second. We take projects from concept to scripting and finally post-production. Sometimes we're called in at the very end for post-production, for color, for anything that needs to be broadcast ready. We work with small ad agencies mainly, and also corporate marketing departments. And for these companies, we create commercial advertising, literal commercials, and social media content as well. We're very brand and story conscious, and we work with a lot of different budgets. And I guess like a lot of people, we work best as a partner where we can grow and understand the business and the culture of the company. And it's not always possible, but it definitely helps for us to really communicate your brand and understand what your company's looking for to represent, that is. So Patrick Sasso, Loop 7. I'll actually put my LinkedIn in the...
Yeah, that's a good idea. If you put your LinkedIn in the chat, you can connect afterwards.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Ling, you are up.
Thank you. So let me start by asking you guys, did you put your audience to sleep with your last presentation? Well, those days are over. I can help you build a more effective presentation, bringing you closer to that sales and leads that you want. My name is Ling, and I am a founder of Dex.com, DKCS.com. My team includes marketers, builders, and wordsmiths who will create the presentation for you that will capture your audience and keep them engaged. We work with small to mid-sized companies and ad agencies in the US. And, we offer both, completely redesign the website, the PowerPoint presentations, or we work with you to provide any additional design or content support. So that's me, and great to meet you all. And I'll send you the link to my LinkedIn as well as the website for Dex.
And Dex is spelled unusually DEKCS.
Correct, yes.
So that's one way they stand out. Any questions for Ling? Because we have a few minutes. Okay, Rachel, unmute.
And Link, I saw that it said something about like one-sheeters and things like that as well. So in addition to the PowerPoints, do you do like just traditional marketing materials, or is it all focused on presentation?
I focus mainly on presentations, including one-sheeters or any type of capability or product explanation. Most of them are just different way to present your brand. I have worked with a few people to reorganize their one-sheeter and make it stand out from the pack. So.
Do you use things like Prezi or things like other than PowerPoint, or are you PowerPoint specific?
I do use Google Slides. There's a new service that's launched called pitch.com also, where you can also work in teams. So we also use pitch.com, and Canva, we use Canva, and Keynotes also. So anything PowerPoint related.
Yeah. Are you doing anything specific to, I'm sorry, were you done, Rachel? I didn't mean to interrupt. Okay, no. Do you do some things now specifically focused to the new world that we're faced with online, what do I say? Online conferences, right? So we have virtual conferences that we're going to, which is a little different. Not to say that we haven't had them before, but do you focus on anything with that to make it engaging?
Yeah, I haven't worked on any project that is for conferences. But I, specifically for COVID, I have a lot of requests for Zoom background, if that's a thing. Like a branded Zoom backgrounds. But in terms of conferences, no. Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Let's move on. So let's see, John, and then Jason, if he's still here, and then Audrey.
Hey there, all. Good to see you all, and good to meet you, Patrick, and you, Lynn. I think I've seen everybody else. Tread4 Consulting, we focus on kind of more on the sales marketing side, but process. And really, we've got a fractional sales management service as well as a marketing automation tool. And then we also have a platform as a service, if you will, that is really focused on customer touches, whether that be in customer service, whether that be in service itself, whether that be in support, but mainly a CRM for the sales organization, quoting capabilities and that type of thing. So really, as Tread4 has now morphed, we're focused on really trying to have the tools and the toolbox, if you will, to help our clients in the mid-level or mid-sized businesses. And where we're seeing our best successes are folks who really want to grow either by margin or by revenue. And obviously everybody wants to grow, but helping them maintain a repeatable process or developing that repeatable process for them is where we're really gaining traction in performance for our clients right now. So that's kind of the quick down and dirty. And I'm always looking for new tools to represent and bring to my clients to help them perform better.
Very cool. All right, any questions for John? Again, we have a minute or so more. John is also in.
I missed the name of your company. I'm sorry.
Tread4 Consulting, and I will put my LinkedIn in the chat.
What's your best customer look like?
You know, it's a global manufacturer of cranes, and that's probably the largest customer I have right now. I've had a long history in sales and have worked with Fortune 500s, but currently focused on the mid-sized business. And really, if you look at some of these global companies, they have a mid-sized business feel when you start looking at particular business units. And I'm working with a business unit of a very large Fortune 500 type company. So that's my largest customer. My smallest customer is an individual that I've known for years and years. And, you know, they're equally as challenging and equally as rewarding as well. So.
Great, thanks.
I think Joe was referring to the description of a customer, not the specific customer, but we got it from
Close
the,
enough.
we got it from what you said. So,
Yeah, gotcha.
all right, cool. Jason, I think he bumped. Jason did jump. Audrey Glover-Dictor, then Cheryl, then Joe.
Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Glover-Dictor. I'm a solo practitioner. I'm in South Florida, and I own a boutique law firm called Glover-Dictor PL. I focus on advertising, marketing, promotions law, intellectual property, and privacy law. So I work with small, medium agencies, small, medium businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs to keep them legally compliant in all three fields of law. So I do a few things. I review advertising campaigns in English and Spanish. You don't need to translate it into Spanish for me. I'm fluent in Spanish, so just whatever you have, just give it to me. And then what I do is I review for all three fields, and I review across all the advertising marketing campaign that it'll be, whether it's your website, especially your website, print or social media. I also help in negotiating the specifically marketing contracts for, like, if you want to hire an influencer or things like that. I also do speaking. I act like as an outside counsel for all three fields of law for both the advertising area, agencies or the small businesses. And of course, I'm always here to answer questions and guide the clients, because the whole point of being legally compliant is to do your legal due diligence before you launch publicly, because as we all know, FTC requires that we are legally compliant before going public with our campaigns to minimize the legal risk and to protect your businesses and your agencies. Because if the client is being looked into by the FTC or the FDA, trust me, so is the agency. So it's always good to have your own attorney as an agency versus the client's attorney. John, did you have a question? No, I'm sorry. I thought you raised your hand, so.
Yeah, we have a few more minutes if anybody has, or I shouldn't say a few more, about 45 seconds. If anybody has a question for Audrey.
Well, I'm located in South Florida, but I practice nationwide because all three fields are federal practices. And I am licensed in Florida, DC, and New Jersey. So as far as like state law with those contracts that I was just talking about, that would not be an issue. But if it becomes an issue, then obviously I'll team up. I also do defending. I don't litigate. I team up with litigators. But if your client or the agency does get a letter from an agency, a federal government agency or a state government agency, or the NAD or Carew or whatever it may be, feel free to reach out to me. I can also help out with that.
Wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Okay, that was Audrey. Cheryl.
Yeah, I'm Cheryl Washaleski with JCW Marketing and Sales. I'm located in Michigan, so just outside of Detroit. We focus on small to medium-sized businesses, those that are looking to sort of grow into their next spot. Typically, some of our entrepreneurs have done really well as they've launched, but they're looking to grow their business and need a little bit more of a plan moving forward. We also are focused on marketing automation, so helping them implement not only their business, helping them identify their marketing plans, but also then working with them on their systems, getting them in process, and then helping them look for leads and pull them through the nurturing process. So that is us.
And Cheryl, you have a background, if I recall correctly, in the airline industry.
I do. Yeah. So I was with Northwest and then Delta for quite a few years. But so yeah, so my agency has been in play for about 10 years now. So we've had some different iterations of it. We've worked with events. So we've done some event planning, working with different events. We've worked with the North American International Auto Show. We've done some sponsorship development. So we've had some different avenues in which we've dabbled in, but this is where we seem to be doing best.
Great. Any questions for Cheryl?
I saw somebody said they're in Windsor.
I was going to say, I grew up in Windsor. My
Okay.
mother's from Detroit.
Oh,
So,
fantastic. Yeah, we're about an hour from Detroit. So
the auto show is huge. I mean, obviously.
it's huge.
in
Yeah.
Motor City should be.
Yeah, right. Well, it's funny because, and talk about those events that are canceling and changing. They moved from a January to where they should have been in June this year.
Right.
And then, of course, that got canceled.
Yeah.
And now they moved it so they are never going to have a June show. And then they've just bumped it to, I think it's a September timeframe now. So
Oh
they'll
my
be the beginning of the auto show. So it's kind of an interesting move they've made.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Mhm. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, because one of our clients just said that, they're focused on getting their leads, by going to some of these shows or conferences, and they're already seeing they're canceling for next year.
Yeah.
So
that's a
go
big
ahead,
thing
Rachel.
I was just gonna ask who you're what type of clients you work with. SMB, about are there specific verticals or anything?
So we've done a lot with health and wellness, and that's almost just I'll say by chance, a little bit now more targeted. And then we also have some real estate and real estate type clients, and what do I say? Title insurance, sorry, because they're different title insurance companies. And then we end up doing a lot of work for nonprofit, but that's probably out of the goodness of my heart. And then we end up getting paid some for it, but I don't target it. I just can't help but not want to help them. So it's
All right. Thank you so much, Cheryl. And Joe, and then I will go.
All right, thanks. Good to see everybody. Joe Maggot, Griffin Solutions. I do IT management consulting. I'll tell you a little bit about my current client. It's a $200 million electric construction company, except they do lots more than just electrical construction. They have a utility division and a communications division and a substation division, which is dangerous work, by the way. And they doubled in size each of the past 5 years, and their IT infrastructure definitely hasn't kept up. So they have some really serious issues, and they want to double again in the next 5 years. And it's not going to happen unless they fix their IT infrastructure. So over last week and the beginning of this week, I interviewed 25 members of their team across all these divisions. After doing also a survey, got 89 responses to that. So I'm basically doing data collection, understand what their situation is. We're going to do a current state, future state event in about 4 weeks after I get a baseline report together. And we'll put 50 people in a virtual room, because we're not going to put them in a real room, unfortunately. And after all of that, I will put together a draft IT strategy and strategic management software that I had built in a previous company, present that to senior management, and use it to build a framework for establishing priorities, so you can figure out what stuff they're going to do first. And then we'll go in and do detailed functional requirements and go out and find new stuff to replace their infrastructure, which is probably a shambles. So you probably know some companies out there that look just like that. And you help them with bits and pieces of it, but their whole IT infrastructure is really holding them back. Those are companies I love to work with. So middle market companies, anywhere from at least 50 million up to this 2, 3, maybe $400 million size, where they've been growing. They're doing a lot of stuff, and IT is just not there.
Maybe large global crane manufacturers. Speak to
They'll
John.
be fine. Yes.
Sounds
I've
like
worked with a bunch of different industries in the past. I've done manufacturing, I've done publishing, I've done government. So it really doesn't matter. Probably some industries wouldn't look for someone unless they have industry experience, but it really doesn't matter. The process is the process, and it works every time.
Wonderful. Okay. I will go. I will give myself 3 minutes, just like everybody else. So my name is Michael Bendit, and I'm both the founder of this group, but also a member, in that the business that I have is an independent rep company for software development teams. So I have about 10 different teams that I work with, and about half of the work that we do is marketing applications. So it's websites, it's mobile applications, it's e-commerce sites. I also have a couple of specialty teams that do things like blockchain and big data and artificial intelligence. But the bread and butter, it really is the stuff you'd think of, WordPress and Magento, and some of these names may not be familiar to you, but there's so many different technologies out there and different platforms and different types of applications that representing 10 teams enables me to say yes to more opportunities and really have a good match for the client. A lot of the work that I do is, or I should say that a lot of the work that I do goes to teams that are dual shore teams. So they've got just a couple people here in the US, but most of their resources, most of the developers are offshore, which means that the client gets the cost savings, taking the hourly rate from roughly 150 is what it would be per hour in the US, down to somewhere in the 35 to 70 range, depending on the skill set, depending on the mix of onshore versus offshore. And that seems to be, and they don't sacrifice the communications that comes with, if it's purely an offshore team, you have time zone issues and communications issues, sometimes language issues. And that makes it all that more complicated. So, I'm a hunter, so to speak. I'm out there doing a lot of networking and drumming up opportunities for these clients. And it's sort of how I came up with the idea of building a network to represent software companies, these tech companies that we are currently representing as a network. What else can I say about it? Best clients for me actually are small digital marketing agencies because we partner with them to actually do the back end work, sort of the technical under the hood kind of work that they may not have the internal resources to handle, or they just may not want to, or they might run out of resources. They may have just 2 or 3 people that do programming, but they need, more for a particular job, or they have an opportunity that they can't handle directly because they don't have the skill set. So any questions specifically for me, and then I'll close up.
Michael, I guess, because I want you to expand a little bit more on what you just said as far as helping out with digital agencies and some of the programming. Is it mostly website stuff? Is it working with some other things like helping to build APIs, or tell me a little bit more?
It's all of those things.
Yes.
Yeah, it's I mean, the only thing we don't do is it's all custom. So we don't do, implementing accounting systems or, package systems. We do work with platforms like WordPress and Magento and Drupal. Those are platforms to build sites or build e-commerce systems. And then we integrate between those systems and internal systems or external systems. That's a big part of it. Yeah. APIs, yeah, they're growing because people realize you need to be connected to other systems. So happy to talk more about that if you'd like. I will announce that we just signed yesterday or 2 days ago with Brandmaker, which is a company. It's really a leader in what is known as the marketing resources management world. I tried to send out an email today, but for some reason, I think it got blocked. It didn't go out yet. Maybe it's in queue to announce that. They're doing a presentation on November 11th, but you'll get the email and the invite. So they're a much bigger company. I mean, not a huge company. They're a $20 million company. They're a German company. They only have 1 salesperson here in the US. And so they're looking to us to help them introduce them to more opportunities. What's unique about them, a couple things. One, they've got a great list of customers. I mean, they sold to IKEA, Amazon, 10 of the top auto manufacturers, a bunch of different banks. Tends to be more European focused, but they're making inroads into the US. And their typical sale, their target sale is somewhere around 300 to 500,000 a year. Our cut is 10% of the SaaS license fees and 5% of professional services fees, which can be about the same amount for at least the first year. And again, as you know, our standard approach is splitting that 50-50 with the member who brings in the deal. Their target audience is companies that spend a lot of money and have a complex, marketing organization. So they spend maybe 100 million or more in marketing and advertising each year. So they got big budgets, they've got complex organizations, and they need to manage all of that. So the ideal target really is those large companies, and it's probably going to be somebody in marketing operations, that's dealing with just the complexity of how do you manage all this stuff. So you can look them up. It's called Brand Maker. I'll be sending more information about them around, and I'll also obviously be sending the date of the presentation. A couple other things that are coming up. Of course, next week we have another weekly. That's Tuesday at 11, because we alternate between Tuesdays mornings and Wednesday evenings. We have a presentation or a webinar. Rochelle Lisner is getting a webinar on honing your pitch. So it's sort of like how do you really refine your pitch so that it's compelling, that it raises questions people want to ask, it engages people. And that's going to be somewhat interactive. So we're going to have 5 people actually give their pitch. They'll volunteer, and then the rest of the members will score those pitches. And of those 5, Rochelle is actually going to critique one of them. And that's on the 29th at 4 p.m.